For our final chat for 2022, good to catch up again with the member for Flinders, Sam Telfer. Sam, Merry Christmas to you and all the team at the Flinders Electorate Office.
Yeah, likewise. It's a busy time of year, but a special time of year.
One thing that is quite busy for schools is the graduations. Now we have graduations of Year 6s, not Year 7s, and you got an award you give out to some of the schools. Just give us a bit of an idea of how many schools you got to look after in Flinders.
Yeah, here in Flinders there's 29 schools, so there's a bunch of primary schools, a bunch of area schools, and all across the electorate. I offer a parliamentary medal for a student, which shows determination and hard work through challenges and the ability to lift other people up, fellow students and the like. So it really is a privilege to be able to go to graduations and speak to students and parents and teachers, because it has been a challenging year, and to be able to give this award out every year in the 29 schools, and they're all the way from Port Lincoln all the way up to Ceduna and Kimber and everywhere in between. So it is a very busy time of the year indeed.
And do you get the sense, with those interrupted couple of years with home learning that young people had, do you get a sense that they've shown great resilience from some of the things that are said about them at the graduations, that there's a lot to be hopeful for the next generation?
I absolutely agree with that. The way that students have been able to adapt to a changing scenario, and there's been times where schools have been closed over the last couple of years. Students have had to be away and learning, over the web or over the phone or however it's been. We've really highlighted that community schools in particular, and this is what I've said to a lot of mine, in areas such as Flinders and around South Australia, it really is a unique education that students get at community schools and area schools, that really the whole community come around and support the students and the teachers. So we, I think, as you said, are in good hands.
Now, are we in good hands when it comes to water security in the Eyre Peninsula and the West Coast? It seems to be moving very slowly, this debate about desalination option and getting water security and reducing reliance on the River Murray and the western part of South Australia.
It's been slow moving, you're absolutely right. So the former Minister Spears put together a site selection committee, which was community leaders and industry looking at where the best location is from the community perspective for a desal plant in the southern Eyre Peninsula, and then obviously feeding the whole of the Eyre Peninsula with the unique distribution network that there is. That site selection committee met a number of times, and I think the number of meetings is up to 14 or 15 to make recommendations to the SA Water Board and to the Minister. And the reason that there's been urgency is because the detail that the site selection committee was given was that by 2025, the underground aquifers that supply the water for the Eyre Peninsula are going to be at a point where we're run out of water. So there really is an urgency, and the ball really is now in the court of SA Water and the Minister for Water, Susan Close, to make a decision and get this project moving. We can't afford to get to a point where the water supply for the Eyre Peninsula is unsustainable and we do permanent damage to the underground aquifer system.
Well, what I recall from a conversation we did have with the Water Minister, Susan Close, was is money the issue? They seem to be waiting perhaps for the federal government to help out with the solution?
There absolutely is the opportunity for the federal government to put some funding in, but either way, the state government have got to be proactive and start making decisions on this. As I said, with the clock ticking, with only a few years of guaranteed water supply left for the Eyre Peninsula, there really is a risk that we'll be left high and dry, no pun intended, and it will do permanent environmental damage. So a decision's got to be made, and we've got to be proactive, and I've been really impressing on the Minister and SA Water as well to get moving on this.
Now, someone who's been proactive on the native title front's been the Attorney General Kiam Maher, who was up in the Streaky Bay area for the confirmation of the federal court ruling for the Wirangu people, covering a great part of that area. The Streaky Bay councils congratulated the Wirangu people on the determination. What are the implications of it for people in that region?
You're right. The Streaky Bay Council has been proactive in making sure that the communication and the relationship with the Wirangu up there is strong. Here in Flinders, we have a number of First Nations groups which have got native title claims over different parts of the peninsula. it really is a small part of what the overall interaction with Indigenous people needs to be for community. And for mine, it really needs to be about the Indigenous population of the Eyre Peninsula having a better quality of life and more certainty and more capacity for self-determination. These events get on the front page of the newspaper, and rightly there's a fair bit of attention given to them. But what I'm really keen on is making sure there's positive outcomes for mothers, for children, for our people on the Eyre Peninsula, our people, our Australians. And I have met recently with Streaky Bay Council as they've worked through their part of the process, and look forward to making sure that those communication lines stay strong.
Well, someone who also is having a very positive season at the moment is our farmers. They're sending in so much into the processing, the silos and the ports, etc. Are we getting close to the end of it for the Eyre Peninsula?
No, in a short word. There's still plenty of crops in my travels as I'm going around the Eyre Peninsula that are still unwrapped. I think that the harvest season will go well into January. And yeah, it's a positive thing. We did have a late season. We did have an interrupted start to the harvest, which has meant that it's been put out by a couple of weeks. But there's still going to be plenty of grain on the roads, plenty of truck movements, and plenty of long hours spent. So I'd suggest the Christmas New Year period. There'll only be short breaks for farmers on the land. They'll be looking at getting the crop in as quickly as possible. And I really do urge people who are going to be on the roads, whether it's locals or whether it's visitors, to take care, because these truck drivers work very hard to make sure they're doing things in a safe way, and they need to make sure the interactions with other vehicles are safe too. A lot of visitors that always come to the Eyre Peninsula, and rightly so, over summertime, we've got to make sure we stay safe on the roads.
Is it going to highlight the big crop that we're having, just perhaps the need for more overtaking lanes or road upgrades so that there can be safe opportunities to pass a higher number of vehicles on the roads? There's
going to be no doubt that the end of this harvest will see a lot of deteriorated roads and a lot of investment that needs to go back into our road network. I recently spoke to the Minister for Regional Roads, Jeff Brock, and he's visiting the Eyre Peninsula at the moment, and I highlighted to him that firstly, there's been a lack of investment in previous years and decades, and secondly, that the high productivity and the dollars that are put back into the state's economy by the Eyre Peninsula, and especially the agricultural sector on the Eyre Peninsula, really needs to be reflected in investment back into roads. And as you say, there's shoulder sealing, there's overtaking lanes, and there's just general maintenance of the road surface, which really does need significant investment, and I'll be doing what I can to make sure the government is fully aware of that.
Plenty of unfinished business to go into 2023, but have a good break, Sam Telfer, member for Flinders. We'll catch you in the new year.
Absolutely. Great to talk to you, and to your listeners, that may have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.